All right, let's look at how the market's reacted. So Ethereum hit an all-time high on Sunday. $4,890, I think, was the intraday high on Sunday.
Yeah.
The market cap of Ethereum hit almost 600 billion, which, for context, that's about 27% of the market cap of Bitcoin. So Ethereum, the world's second biggest crypto, still around 30% the market cap of Bitcoin, hitting an all-time high. And it seems to have been triggered by this new guidance from the Fed at the Jackson Hole Symposium.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Bitcoin.com's The Weekly. I'm Graham Stone, and I'm joined by Bitcoin.com News' David Sensel. And we're live at WebX Tokyo.
In the flesh.
In the flesh. Live at WebX Tokyo, Asia's biggest Web3 conference. Let's get into the news, David.
All right, so to start with, the biggest news of last week would have to be Jackson Hole. This is the annual meeting, not an official FOMC meeting, but still really, really important. And this year turned out to be just as important. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell revealed a major shift to the central bank's monetary policy framework during his August 22nd speech at Jackson Hole. This signaled a major departure from strategies rolled out in 2020 during the COVID debacle. And it basically set up a new regime going forward that affects how the Fed is going to respond to inflation. Gone is the pledge to let inflation average 2% over time. Effectively, this gives the Fed more flexibility to respond to their other main remit, which is employment.
I'm a bit confused by this, David. So they've always been targeting 2%, but they changed something a few years ago to target 2% averaged over time.
Well, yeah. So there are a couple things. They wanted to average it over time, but also they made changes in terms of when they would target the inflation rate, as in, like, are they gonna start messing with the interest rate when things are getting hotter? So like maybe anticipating inflation increases or not. They basically they're retiring the kind of I think the hotter for longer thing, right? So now I think this lets them be more responsive. But also, they're no longer tied to 2%. So if it's under 2%, that's fine too.
Okay, so is that why the market is interpreting this as a dovish?
Yes. It also, right, the big, everyone was looking at like whether Powell was going to submit to Trump or not, right? Anybody who's on X or I guess even moderately paying attention to the news knows that Trump has been bullying Powell online, calling him too slow, Powell, and all this kind of stuff. A lot of people thought that, Powell is going to be stubborn and not be dovish because he didn't want to seem like he was capitulating.
Right.
But this really sets up whoever Trump is going to appoint next, right? So this is even, I don't know if you would want to call it capitulation or whatnot, but regardless of what Powell does, it really kind of gives the green light to his successor. Right? 'Cause it's setting up a roadmap that's quite clear in terms of, okay, if you want to bring rates really low again, that's now going to be within the Fed's policy framework.
Okay, now there was something else in here about the prong of the Fed's mandate, which is employment.
Yeah.
What was some new guidance there or?
Yeah, so I think that they place now an even stronger stance on employment.
Okay.
So basically, from the people that I follow, they interpreted this as traditionally the Fed has two mandates: full employment and stable prices.
Right.
Stable prices means like inflation, right?
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of this language is basically putting employment front and center. And stable prices are kind of secondary now to that.
Okay,
right?
So less focus on inflation, more focus on employment.
Yes.
Which the market interprets that as dovish.
Yes, because
for risk assets.
Yes. Because it means that, and also like they changed some of the language in terms of like, okay, what if interest rates are lower than they, like what if they're close to zero? And traditionally that removes a lot of tools that the Fed has to kind of influence the economy.
Yeah.
They even, I think they put in language here saying like, yeah, even if we're near zero again, if we're ZERP again, we still have other tools like quantitative easing and this kind of thing. So I mean, it really does show you that. I feel like they're telegraphing quite heavily. Yeah, we're gonna maybe take this close to ZERP again, and that's okay. We're gonna use other tools to affect the economy.
Okay, so all of the prediction markets are now. They've changed their odds to increase the likelihood of a rate cut in September. So on Polymarket, the odds of a 25 basis point trim after the meeting now stand at 78%. Basically after the meeting, it jumped 20%. And there are less than 1% of Polymarket bettors are predicting an increase. So basically the consensus is that the Fed is going to tighten in September. Loosen. Thank you. In September, most people think it's going to be a 25 basis point cut. And interestingly, there are $163 million of wagers on the Kalshi market.
Oh, really?
So it's quite a deep market. I think you have to assume that actually means it's quite accurate. As we know with these prediction markets, basically the deeper the liquidity, the more certain the outcome is. So very likely that we're going to see a rate cut in September. Probably that means, well, is it already priced in though? I guess so.
Well, I mean, the market's immediate reaction was that repricing event, right?
So let's talk about that.
Well, hold on. I just want to say one thing, just while we're talking about this. How boss would it be if Powell sets the roadmap for his successor, right? So there's this dovish path now. Trump has an easy way for whoever he points next, but it's also like there's some continuity. But he doesn't cut in September, so he gets what he wants. I mean, I think that would be awesome personally. I mean, Marcus might not like it, but that would be.
I like that timeline,
right? Like because I mean, honestly, a lot of people in crypto hate Powell, but seriously, the guy did an amazing job. Right? Nobody thought we were going to get a soft landing. Nobody. He did it. He got a soft landing. Now, why would he do this framework change, even though he might not want rate cuts? Continuity, right? So, like, if he really does care about the Fed as an institution and the fact that it has forward guidance in a way,
right?
You want that continuity, right? So he knows what's going to happen when he's out, right? He knows that.
Yeah.
Trump's lackey is going to cut.
Yeah.
Right. So you might as well smooth the path to that. Right.
Okay.
So anyway.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Actually,
I'm probably wrong, but man, that would be awesome. I would love to see that.
All right, let's look at how the market's reacted. So, Ethereum hit an all-time high on Sunday. $4,890, I think, was the intraday high on Sunday.
Yeah.
The market cap of Ethereum hit almost 600 billion, which, for context, that's about 27% of the market cap of Bitcoin. So Ethereum, the world's second biggest crypto, still around 30% the market cap of Bitcoin, hitting an all-time high. And it seems to have been triggered by this new guidance from the Fed at the Jackson Hole Symposium.
Yeah. So ETH hit an all-time high. Nothing changes sentiment or strategy around an asset like the price going up.
Yeah.
Right. And suddenly you have, and we will get into Bitcoin later, but you have kind of ETH leading the market.
Yeah.
And it's suddenly the golden boy again, right? Like it's like the past couple years have been washed away with one price jump.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, the ETH ETFs saw $338 million inflow on Friday, and they did a record $7 billion in trading activity on the ETFs.
Good Lord. And the other news, though, you have SharpLink Gaming.
This is not sure if this is bullish for ETH or not, but SharpLink Gaming announced a stock repurchase program authorizing the buyback of up to 1.5 billion of its common stock.
What's up with these things?
Now, SBET, that's the ticker for SharpLink, the MNAV has compressed from nearly a ratio of 4 in early July to now around 1. So the enterprise value of the company 2 months ago was 4x the value of its Ether holdings, and now it's pretty much 1-to-1. Is that why they issued this stock repurchase authorization?
Well, I mean, so it's an authorization, right? It's not a commitment.
They haven't done it.
Yeah, it's not a commitment to doing it. It's basically them allowing themselves to do it, right? And so I don't know if it's like
they're cocking the gun.
Yeah, what jawboning, right? They're trying to jawbone the market to kind of juice the MNAV.
Yeah.
or if they're going to actually go through with it. But we've talked about this many, many times, Graham, where the whole point of these DATs the philosophical point is to buy the digital asset and to give people access to the digital asset. Now, if you start buying back the stock, are they selling the digital asset for that? Are they using cash on hand? I mean, they don't have cash on hand to do that, right? So they'd be selling, I imagine they'd be selling ETH to do that.
Stock repurchase program. So,
right?
Issue debt?
But then you're just you're diluting it. You're compressing the MNAV further, right? Unless they're going to do some like MicroStrategy kind of like issue some kind of secondary thing to then buy. But that just gets into Ponzi-nomics. We've seen several other companies promise to do this, buy back their stock, and the market didn't really respond favorably to it.
Right.
I think personally they shouldn't do this. Now again, I'm wildly out of my depth. We should actually ask Haseeb about this later today.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Like, is there, for stupid idiots like us, I can't really see this strategy working. Yeah. But is there some way that this could actually be positive for the financial alchemy? I would guess not.
Okay, let's move on to another.
Wait, hold on. Come on. ETH hit a new all-time high. You have sold all your ETH.
Yeah.
How's it feel, buddy?
Doesn't feel great, but I have many coping mechanisms, and
I want to hear a couple. Let me hear. Give me a taste of the cope.
I like the concept that all the recent buyers of ETH, they're just they're traders. All right, they're not long-term convicted holders. By contrast, you have someone like Michael Saylor who would rather go bankrupt than sell any of his Bitcoin. He will never sell his Bitcoin. Tom Lee, the guy behind Fundstrat, I don't think that guy's a maxi of anything. I think he's just a maxi of, I don't know, being on TV. So
having photos taken with women, beautiful women.
Exactly.
He likes that too.
It's a trade. I feel like a lot of people who are piling into ETH, they're better traders than me, but I don't think it's going to end well. So I consider myself an investor, David, not a trader.
We all know that's not true. But again, we'll move on in a second. But now that it's broken all-time highs, though, you gotta imagine it hits
momentum. Yeah,
it hits 5K at least, right, and breaks through that.
Yeah. Well, not long after it did hit that all-time high, we saw a pretty broad market correction, didn't we?
Yeah, that's true.
We can talk more about that later. But first, let's talk about the stable coin meta, which is very much connected to the ETH bull case.
Yeah.
Something happened here in Japan with SBI Holdings.
Yeah. SBI is at the conference. They've got a big booth over there. I can't wait to take a look.
It's a financial giant here in Japan. Yeah. And they've established a joint venture with Circle Internet Holdings, which is an affiliate of Circle Internet Group. Circle, of course, the company behind USDC.
Right.
And the purpose of the venture is to promote USDC here in Japan and, quote, create new use cases in the Web3 and digital finance domains. So proponents argue that collaborations like this could lower transaction costs, increase financial inclusion, and accelerate the modernization of Japan's financial system.
I just, why? I can't imagine the Japanese government being happy that
the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, one of their largest bank consortium thingies is starting a joint venture to promote the U.S. dollar in Japan.
Yeah.
I imagine that would ruffle a lot of feathers. Yeah. The central bank over here were like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
The yen is not in a good place, right? The Japanese treasury market is in a terrible place.
Yeah.
Why are you hawking?
Well, to make
USDC?
money.
Yeah, I mean, they want to make money, but the government is going to be like, dude.
Yeah, well, ostensibly, Japan is still a democratic capitalist system where you're free to do it. But we're at WebX here in Tokyo. The Prime Minister of Japan is here. You've got Minister of Digital something or other.
Ishiba.
There's going to be a lot of discussions about how to regulate and deal with the crypto asset space here in Japan. So let's see what happens. Let's see how the government responds to the movement of the Genius Act and what the U.S. did in the U.S. with stable coins. Let's see how Japan responds.
Yeah.
There's also been rumors of a Japan stable coin.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about that later in Token Narratives. Stay tuned in, folks. about that. But I imagine a lot of what these Japanese politicians that are appearing at WebX are going to talk about is kind of Japan's response to the things that you were mentioning there, right? Stable coins, America's strides with regulation. Very different place from last year, where Japan and Singapore were kind of way ahead of America. How much can things change in 1 year? It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. So just one more story on the stable coin front. We have a report from Dune Analytics. Dune Analytics is a blockchain analytics OG in the space. They issued a report covering the January 2021 to July 2025 period. And in the report, it states that stablecoins in Latin America have moved over $50 billion in value, mostly on USDT.
Yeah.
And a quote from the report: "This evolution likely reflects a broader change in the use cases driving exchange flows away from speculative trading on volatile assets and towards practical applications such as payments, remittances, and merchant settlement, and on and off ramping for dollar savings."
You talked to a lot of like OG maxis, and they're not really upset anymore that stablecoins are kind of the main use case of crypto. But it's undeniable that stablecoins really, because they're not speculative, right? Like you don't really speculate on stablecoins.
Yeah.
And so the fact that the volumes are increasing, people are using them. It's almost all pure, actual real world usage.
It's incontrovertible proof that they're being used in the real world.
Yeah. Right. At the very least, in like Latin America and in other parts of Asia, Africa, when they change their local currency to stablecoin, they are in fact using it as a kind of a store of value. If they don't use it, right? Like they're going to hold it in stable coins.
Yeah. Now, the report notes that Ethereum remains the settlement backbone. So when these stablecoin transactions, peer-to-peer transactions, finally get settled, it happens mainly on Ethereum, but Tron has taken a dominant role in low-cost stablecoin transfers, and Polygon is also steadily growing its share by carving out a niche in payment-focused flows. So this is, this supports the bull case for Ethereum that people are saying. Part of the reason why Ethereum has been doing so well is with the passing of the Genius Act, the consensus has been that Ethereum is the stablecoin chain, and this latest report from Dune Analytics does seem to support that.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the Solana royalty for the past couple weeks really push the idea that Solana is increasing by leaps and bounds in its in the usage of stablecoins there. For example, Bullish, right? They IPO'd, was it last week, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
They decided to receive 1.5 billion, I think, some amount. I think it was maybe up to 1.1 billion of the proceeds from the IPO in stablecoins.
They took the payment in stablecoins
On Solana. So, but again, that must be a drop in the bucket for, Ethereum.
Yeah.
I still don't understand, though, why you would be settling to Ethereum. I guess if you're doing like $1 billion worth, that's what you would do. But like if you're in LATAM, why would you be dealing with the high fees of Ethereum? Unless it's like an L2. Are they using an L2? Are they doing it on base or something?
Yeah. I have the same feeling. Well, Polygon, the report notes that Polygon is growing, but Ethereum remains the settlement backbone. So the largest volume is done on Ethereum. I would imagine the smaller payments are done on lower fee networks. All right, let's move on to Bitcoin. So,
the big boy.
While Ethereum hit all-time highs, Bitcoin has been trading kind of flat. And then just a few hours ago, we had a flash crash in Bitcoin, and it seems that this was caused by a whale dumping 24,000 or more Bitcoin. And this entity apparently still holds 152,874 BTC across linked wallets. So we have apparently another Bitcoin whale diversifying into Ethereum, trading into Ethereum.
Do you know?
Abandoning Bitcoin? I'm not sure.
Where did they sell it? Was it through a centralized exchange?
I don't know. I don't know. But the funds traced back to HTX deposits from 6 years ago.
Holy crap, yeah. Also, over the weekend, it's not a story here, but apparently Bitcoin was being heavily traded on Hyperliquid.
That's right. There was another large Bitcoin hold, another Bitcoin whale who...
$1 billion plus.
They hold did they transfer $1 billion plus, or is that I thought it was there was only like 60 million that they actually traded to.
I don't know.
Basically smashed the sell button from BTC to ETH on Hyperliquid.
Yeah, I heard the volume. I'm not sure exactly the actual amount was, but I heard the volume was really quite high.
Yeah.
So again, a lot of activity on Bitcoin. Again, these whales seem to really like this level. Like these OG whales seem to like this 120 to 110 level to start to get out of Bitcoin.
If you've been holding 80,000 Bitcoin since 2012, you didn't sell in 2017 when it was $20-something thousand, and your net worth was like a billion.
Yeah.
You didn't sell in 2021 when it pumped to 69,000. At that point, your net worth was 4 billion or something.
Yeah.
And you finally decided to sell now. 9 billion's the magic number.
Well, also though, I mean, so yes, absolutely yes. But the other part is, you have to assume that these whales are either sophisticated themselves or, they're working with someone who is sophisticated, and it's how much the market can absorb.
Right? I see. Yeah.
Like, for example, could they have gotten rid of 80,000 Bitcoin in 2021
so there's
at
just
4 billion? I doubt it.
So much more liquidity now.
Exactly.
That, they know. Okay, I can actually sell a decent chunk of my holdings.
I think if they had sold at 69,000 in 2021, it would have flash crashed Bitcoin to who knows, 30K or something. Like they would have. They would have eaten so much loss on that side. So, as they say, as Solana has said, or other projects, it's a bullish selling, Graham.
Bullish selling
because.
All right, let's cover two more stories here.
All right, go ahead.
Before we wrap up the weekly. So one is, these are both related to Bitcoin strategic reserves, and one is in Brazil. The head of Brazil's International Reserves Department at the central bank said that basically they decided they had a bill on the table to adopt a Bitcoin strategic reserve, and they decided we don't want that. The quote from this person from the central bank, he says, "The IMF classifies Bitcoin as a non-financial, non-produced asset similar to land and mineral resources. This means that Bitcoin is treated as a capital instrument, not a financial instrument or reserve asset." So I thought this was interesting that an official from the central bank is referencing what the IMF thinks about Bitcoin in their decision as to whether or not to actually hold Bitcoin in the strategic reserve. So IMF still has influence, apparently.
Yeah, it feels like that central bank is scared of the IMF. The IMF is behind the scenes threatening to, I don't know, cut funding or something. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Meanwhile, in the Philippines, there has been a proposal to establish a Bitcoin strategic reserve from the central bank there. The proposal is to purchase up to 10,000 BTC at 2,000 BTC annually over 5 years, and they would actually just pay for this out of the central bank reserves.
Really?
It's a proposal. We'll see how far this gets through their system, but the Philippines has proposed this. On the one hand, you have Brazil shutting down a proposal. On the other hand, you have another country like Philippines sparking up a new proposal.
Also, this is kind of the dream of Bitcoin maxis in the U.S. that didn't materialize, right? The government outright buying Bitcoin on the open market, right? Which America has repeatedly said we're not going to do.
Absolutely.
For the time being. I personally don't think that government should do this.
Yeah.
Be buying Bitcoin on the open market. Or at least, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that.
I don't know.
You know what I think they should do? I think they should, if they wanted to buy Bitcoin, I think they should mine Bitcoin.
Mine it, like
right?
Bhutan is doing.
Yeah, like you got the U.S. government be like, okay, we're going to put in some infrastructure. We're going to put in infrastructure, and we want 10 billion or whatever, and then you could improve infrastructure, and you got it there.
Yep. All right, so that is it for the weekly, David. But don't go away, because we're broadcasting live here from WebX Tokyo for the next 2 days, and we'll be right back.